Hey, I just got done showing property to an amazing couple coming from a neighboring state, a state I won't mention, but I was a little shocked to hear what they had to say about Meridian, Idaho, and especially knowing where they're coming from and why they're leaving. I was a little surprised to hear that, but like you watching this, they know a lot of people who've made the move to Meridian, Idaho who absolutely love it, but I tried to get them on camera to kind of get their take on what their experience was here in Meridian, Idaho, so I could give you kind of like some real insight from people who have just flown in and kind of toured the area, but they were a little gun shy, which I don't blame them. So in this video, we're going to dive into the pros and cons of living in Meridian, Idaho. I'm going to give you their fresh take so you have an idea of what it's like from an outsider coming in, and then my take about living here and selling here in the Meridian, Idaho area. So between the two of us, I hope to give you a good video and good content that kind of helps you make a decision about Meridian, Idaho, if it's going to be a right fit for you or not. But first, my name is Greg Langham. I'm an associate broker here in the Boise, Idaho area, which means I can help you buy and sell real estate. So if you're thinking about coming to the Boise, Idaho area, pick up the phone, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email so that we can connect and put a game plan together that's right for you. To check out all the homes that are listed for sale, I want you to go to my website, www.myboisehousesearch.com, and start browsing all those homes that are on the market today. For all the best things about living in the Boise, Idaho area, I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and smash that bell so you're notified every time I drop new content for you. All right, if you're ready to hear their take, I'm ready to give it to you, so let's go! So I've helped a lot of people relocate from all over the country, and a lot of people are choosing Meridian, Idaho. And this particular couple, they were choosing Meridian, Idaho based off what their friends and family who had already moved up here had been telling them about Meridian. But what they said, I was like, yeah, I kind of knew that, but I'm a little shocked to hear that. Knowing from where they're coming from and for them to say that and feel that, I was a little surprised. Now, full disclosure, we were all over Meridian. So we were in the northwest corner of Meridian, we were in North Meridian, and the South Meridian area. So we covered a lot of territory over the day, but one thing that they said was, wow, I cannot believe how crowded it is. It is crowded, a lot of cars on the road. And that's true. A lot of people moved here, and Meridian is the second largest city in the area. And so when you have a lot of people moving here and you already have a big city and not a lot of freeway, those surface roads can get jam-packed, especially with new construction going on. If you come to Meridian, you're gonna see a lot of new construction. You're gonna see a lot of cement trucks driving around, a lot of orange cones, and a lot of one-lane roads as they widen those streets for more traffic to be flowing on those. So when we got back to the village, which I've done a video about the village here, and I'll post that right here, I kind of want to get their take and be like, okay guys, tell me everything that you felt coming to Meridian, because I want to share that on my YouTube channel just to help people get a better idea. So the first thing they said, which I just mentioned, was the traffic. They couldn't believe how crowded it was. The second thing was how small the lots were. In the newer phases of Meridian, South Meridian even, Northwest Meridian, and some pockets in and around Meridian, those new developments are building on smaller lots, which is a disappointment for us locals because, you know, we have so much land here, and it's really sad to see these houses, these big houses, go on these small lots. But when I showed them North Meridian, Northeast Meridian, and some pockets in South Meridian, they felt a little bit better about the lot size. Now, where they're coming from, they're on a postage stamp. So anything here in Idaho is gonna be bigger from where they're coming from. But one of the big draws for them was, you know, a nice yard. They wanted a nice backyard. They wanted some trees in the backyard. They wanted a nice neighborhood feel that they feel that their kids could be safe playing in and around. So I kind of, you know, knowing that, I know now where they're interested in, so I'm gonna kind of hone in and really start looking for some houses for them. But, you know, that was one thing they said was, man, Greg, you know, so far so good, but wow, we were kind of surprised at the newer homes, how small those lots were. What blew them away on a positive side, they said, were the amount of trees that were in those older neighborhoods in Meridian and around Meridian. They just couldn't believe how pretty it was. You know, in their mind, they just thought of this flat field, which parts of Meridian are, like South Meridian, Cuna, it's just pretty flat. But when you get into the Meridian itself, the trees, that was a big draw. You know, they love that. And when we mentioned that in the fall, those leaves turn, you know, it's a really pretty area. But what blew them away were some of these neighborhoods that you drive into. You know, you kind of come off the main road and then you drive down a little bit ways before you hit some homes. And so having these tree-lined streets really surprised them, and in a good way. They loved that. And that's one thing they said that really surprised them and was a pro on their list, was just how pretty and how many trees there were. After a while driving them around, you know, it kind of came up in the conversation about, you know, the schooling, the West Ada School District. They were concerned about that from what they've read online, how things were handled last year. And, you know, they also heard a lot of good too. So they just had mixed emotions. It wasn't on a con side, it wasn't on a pro side. It's just kind of down the middle. But what they said, what pushed them over into the pro side about moving to Meridian, Idaho, is when they called, they were able to speak to someone, the vice principal, gave them a tour of the high school to kind of, you know, put their mind at ease about, you know, what's been happening, what are the goals, what's the curriculum like, because that seems to be a really hot topic for a lot of people coming in from a certain state, wanting to know how Idaho and the teachers feel about teaching the students. And so that was really an eye-opener for them, just to kind of have that transparency. So if you are thinking about making a move to the Meridian area and you have questions about the schools, don't hesitate to reach out to them and talk to them and get an appointment, either a Zoom call or, you know, face-to-face if you're here. So that was one thing they were really excited about and moved it from kind of like a neutral point on their list to a positive. Initially, as we go in and look at these houses, you know, the first question the husband always asks me is, Greg, what's the HOA? What's the HOA? How much is the HOA? And so a lot of the neighborhoods here in Idaho do have HOAs, but it's not like the HOA that maybe you're coming from or you've heard about. These HOAs kind of maintain that property. They really maintain the aesthetics. And so most neighborhoods, especially the newer ones, do have an HOA, but it might be $1,000 for the year. It might be $80, you know, quarterly, something like that. So it depends on where you're going or how new of the subdivision will depend on the HOA. But he was kind of like, HOA, I don't want an HOA. But when I explained it to him, and when he saw for himself, you know, the park, someone has to mow the lawn for the park, the canal that ran through the neighborhood, someone has to maintain that, someone has to maintain the shrubbery at the front, the sign, the waterfall, all that stuff kind of kicked into the HOA. And so it started to make sense. And then of course the amount, it was like, oh, well, it's only that much. So it wasn't a big deal. But yes, Idaho does have HOAs. So that was initially on his con list, but he's like, Greg, let's put that over on the pro side, because I do like people kind of keeping things nice and orderly. I just don't want people telling me what I can and can't do, as far as like, what flag do I put out in my front yard, or what flag I can't put in my front yard, stuff like that. One of their big concerns in making the move here to Meridian were their parents. The wife's mom and dad were still, you know, needing help. And if they made the move here, they'd bring mom and dad with them. And, you know, I guess this video is kind of turned into their concerns and surprise list more so than a pros and cons list. But if you want the pros and cons video I did last year, I'll stick that right here so you can check that out. But the medical facilities for their parents, so that was a concern. We talked about, you know, finding a house with in-law quarters or finding two homes that are close together. But one concern I know for them were the medical facilities. So as we drove around Meridian, I was able to show them, you know, this is the hospital. This is the main hospital where, you know, you can get all the surgeries that you need done here. Here are the family practice clinics that, you know, you can walk right into. And so it kind of put their mind at ease, knowing that there was a lot of medical here in the Meridian area, that if they needed that, they could access that with ease. It wasn't like they had to, you know, drive all the way into Boise and downtown Boise, find parking, and go to the hospital. They could just drive either to their local clinic, immediate care center, or to the St. Luke's Hospital, which is right on Eagle Road, just up from the village. So people have made the move and brought mom and dad and have been totally happy. Even with pre-existing conditions, you know, Parkinson's, heart, leg issues, all sorts of things. People have made the move with their parents and it's worked out, and I haven't heard anything negative about the move and about the medical here in the Boise area, especially in Meridian. So one of the big things on their cons list, I just couldn't get over to the pro side, which I don't know why, was the cost of the house. Just the housing prices have just jumped up, as you've maybe have seen and paid attention to. The housing for what they're looking for is going to be more expensive what they're hoping for. So take that into consideration if you're making a move here to Boise or to the Meridian area. Is just, the cost of housing has jumped up. So they're going to be fine. They've got great equity in their house. They got a great job, great down payment. So we're okay on that. It's just they're hoping the housing costs in Idaho would be a lot less because they heard what their friends got when they made the move last year, and now what the housing prices are, it's a big jump. So just kind of know that, and that was a sticker shock for them coming here. So we're gonna be fine. We're gonna find them exactly what they want. But I think what they were really hoping for was to have their house, and then they were able to buy the parents' house, because the parents are in a little different situation where they kind of have to float that house for them. So I think they were hoping to have a little bit more money left over after they did that transaction. But it's still gonna work out for them. They're in a great situation. They've been blessed richly, so it's just gonna all win. But one thing that you do have to be concerned about if you are making the move to Meridian is the price of housing. So just be prepared. You can always check my website to get an idea of what the current housing prices are. And of course, I do market updates once a month to kind of keep you in the loop as to what is happening here in the market. But they were surprised. Now, the taxes, on the other hand, were a lot less. Now, in a specific state in California, right, those taxes are kind of grandfathered in. Here, they're assessed every year. But if you do have a property that you're occupying as a primary residence, you do get a $125,000 tax break off the assessed value, which brings your property taxes down. 9 out of 10 times they're assessed a lot lower because we're a non-disclosure state. So that should be a pro. So on the pro side, so what that means is when you close on your house, you'll get a tax exemption form to take down to the local county office and have that recorded. Now, you don't have to disclose what you paid for the house. And that's one thing that they'll ask you, but you don't have to disclose it, and it's not a big deal. No one discloses what they paid for the house. So that's what helps with our property taxes. Now, a lot of people, especially this couple, when we were talking price point and what they could get, I think in their hearts, they were really hoping for more, but but what they said is when they went to Texas to look at Texas, they went to Tennessee, they could get a lot more for the money there, but it was just too hard for them. So one thing that was on their pros list based off what their friends had told them, but they had to see it for themselves. So they're staying downtown, they went out to eat. The cost of their the cost of their dinner was less than what they're maybe paying for back home. They went in and checked price of the groceries. They got a family, so that, that grocery bill can be really expensive. But the cost of groceries, milk, bread, all that stuff was less. And then the overall cost of utilities. Now, he was asking about solar in Idaho. We just don't have a lot of solar here as of yet, because our cost of electricity is lower. Now, I think that as more and more people move to Idaho, we're gonna see our electricity bills go up, and maybe solar will become a thing. But when you factor in what he's paying to fill up his car versus the gas prices here, it was a lot less. So that stayed on the pro side, and he was happy to see that. One thing that they had to see with their own eyes, and they actually did mention that, was they just had to see the day-to-day stuff, like running to Target. Where's the Target at? Hobby Lobby, where can I find Hobby Lobby, Kohl's, all the stuff that you would need on a day-to-day basis. Do we have an REI here? Yes, we do. It's in Boise, but World Market, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, that sort of stuff. That was important to them to see on their own, with their own eyes, knowing, okay, these are the areas that we're looking at. How far is it going to be to get to Costco? Or how far is it going to be if I had to run to the grocery store? Stuff like that. So they're really excited to see that for their own eyes. And one thing she said is, man, it's a lot, it gives me a little bit more peace of mind knowing that I can uproot my family and move them here and still have everything I need. Now, coming here from any part of the country and landing in Meridian, you're gonna be able to find everything you need right here in Meridian and not skip a beat. All in all, if they had to score it, there's definitely more pros coming from where they're coming from than cons. It was kind of annoying, they said, sitting in all the traffic going from house to house. But on a day-to-day basis, they're like, you know, Greg, we're not going to be doing that every single day. We're not going to be going from Northwest Meridian to South Meridian to Northeast Meridian. We're going to find our little jam, you know, here in the area that we're going to settle in at. So they were excited. They're happy. We had a great time. They really love the village. They love going to Big Al's and doing that stuff. So they weren't disappointed. They are more excited to get going. I spoke to their realtor where they're selling from. They're gonna get their house listed for sale and get here sooner than later. So I asked them, what advice would you give to anyone who's on the fence just like you? They said, based off our experience and what you showed us, come to Idaho. Hurry and come and don't delay. Check things out. Make sure you see it for yourself before making a decision and make sure it feels right. And for them, it felt right for them, and I think they're gonna do it. So hopefully I can find the house, but if you're thinking about coming to the Boise, Idaho area, or want to look at Meridian, let me know. Reach out to me. Go onto my website, www.myboisehousesearch.com, and start looking at all the homes that are up for sale right now. Or reach out to me directly. I'm happy to connect. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. Share it with other people who are thinking about making a move here to the Meridian area. And then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That helps me out a ton. So if you'd like to get connected, locals who've made the move from other states, and you might be able to find some nuggets of information that will help you in your transition here to Boise. So I hope you like this video, and until next week, we'll see you then, and enjoy the rest of these videos.